We are going to begin our second exercise of the day, which is to take an app that already has some data in it, and we're going to add some Facebook OpenGraph meta tags. Then we're going to deploy this website to Heroku, just doing another git push Heroku master, and we're going to use Facebook's tool to see the data that's available on our new site. So I'm going to begin by showing you I'm going to show you the data. I'm going to show you how to switch Heroku to this new little mini app that we're working on. And I'm going to show you this Facebook tool that you can use to kind of see how your URL looks from the perspective of Facebook. So we'll go in that order. First off, the data that you're using looks like this. And if you installed the JSON, thank you. If you installed the JSON View Chrome extension, you may end up with nice formatting like I have here on the right. Otherwise, it might be a bunch of the same characters all on one line. But here's what I want you to see, that we've got a list of things, and these things have an object called attributes, and then lots of stuff on those attributes. All of this data is free for you to use in your HTML. So if we look at what we have in our OpenGraph folder here, we've got an index page, and that's going to represent the list of courses that we're showing here. These are different courses I teach. And then a page that represents sort of the view of an individual course. So let me run this, and I'll show you the HTML, and then you can kind of see how everything lines up. Run-e, OpenGraph, and we'll look at localhost 3000, and we'll see that it changes from the deploy instructions to this list you see here. And each one of these has a URL, and when you click on this, you end up at a page here that has the description and a larger image and so on. And we can go back, and it's fine. So if you're curious as how this works, there's a router.js file that just involves fetching data from a URL and then rendering one of these two HBS files. You don't need to touch it, just in case you're curious as to how it works. And the meat of this is in index.hbs and course.hbx. Index.hbs is where we're building this course list, and you can see here, this is the H1 tag, here is the UL, and then these are the items for each course. And you can see we do course.attributes.slug, for example. That we can find in the data, right here. So that's what we're using to build our links. So any of these things that are available in the attributes section, or these JSON objects themselves, they're available to you in order to use. In particular, I want you to pay attention to image info, because you'll need to kind of pick the appropriate one for Facebook. Just a hint, one of these images begins with the letters FB. I don't know, maybe that's a hint of some sort. So here's what we want to do. So here's the API endpoint, and it's in the slide. You can click the link. You can see it in your browser. I advise that JSON View Chrome extension. Hopefully you can kind of understand that this is HTML with extras, this HBS file here. And you don't have to touch the each, but just understand that this LI thing, this is repeated over and over again for the list of courses. So if you change something in here, like if I did this, if I did 3 tildes before it, we would see when we refresh the page, there are 3 tildes in front of everything. So it's sort of just, it's almost like looping over it. It is looping over it. So anything you change here would end up changing. And then in course.hbs, we end up using just the variable course in these little expressions here. So that's where we get course colon, and then the name of the course, that's coming from this tag here. So just look at the data, look at that section called attributes, make reasonable assumptions about what you can use. Like if we copied this and pasted it elsewhere, or pasted it twice, we'd end up with the course title twice. So it kind of works the way you would expect it to work. And if you want to learn more about handlebars, check out the Intro to Ember 2.x series. The first couple sections of that course will give you a little bit more depth into how templates like this work. You shouldn't need to go all that deep today. So the last thing I want to show you is the Facebook OpenGraph debugger. So you have a link to this in the slide in the deck that had all of my favorite tools. It was the first slide in the SEO, or in the social metadata section. And this is what the tool looks like, right? It basically, it starts with a single field and you paste a URL in that. So we can do that with, I'll pick one of my courses here, or we can just do it like this. Yeah. So we'll do Ember CLI Basics, grab this URL, paste. So you can see here, I'm missing my OG type property, which means I'm falling back to a website. So that's a warning, that's not an error. But you can see here's my canonical URL, here's my link preview. You see I've got a description here, I've got a title, and then here down here we can see the different meta tags that it's found and it's sort of resolved to. So here I left out OG type, but it's fallen back to website, so I see the value for website here. And you can actually open this up and see all of the different metadata that was available on this type. And you can even see, like, we're gonna start dealing with Twitter later on, and I have some more stuff there. So you're gonna use this OpenGraph tool and put your Heroku URLs in here, both for the index page and each course. And we should see like the thumbnail come up really nicely. We should see a nice description. You should help Facebook figure out how to make it so that when we share links from this site, you have a nice, rich tile instead of just a URL. And then I will go through my solution to this in about 20 minutes, and we will see where we're at. But all of the meta tags that you need to use are things we've already discussed. So just remember, look at the JSON, look at the OpenGraph debugger, and if you have any questions about handlebars or like what you're allowed to do in there, just shout out and I will come and make sure you have what you need. See you in 20 minutes.